So we are back in part 2 of my 3-part video of how I play Ryze, the Rogue Mage. So here in the last part, if you saw, I recently got ganked by 3 people, champions, and right now I really didn't like that. So I decided to my build is if you see what I saw in my other part as Tear the Goddess and Magic Boots. Magic Boots give me magic penetration, while my Tear the Goddess gives me additional mana and mana regeneration, as well as increasing my mana every time I use a spell. So the next thing I wanted to buy was a Haunting Guise, which will give me additional magic penetration, which is basically the more magic penetration you get, the more percentage of your all your attacks you'll do. So here in the bottom you can see Caitlyn and Malzahar pushing forward, trying to push them back. I meanwhile am running, if you look in the bottom right corner, to the battlefield. I wish I had teleport. I wish I had 3 summoner abilities. That'd be sweet. It should be like a champion whose passive lets him have 3 champion abilities. Because that would be a good change once in a while. Otherwise, it's always the same thing. So here, me, Ryze, and 4 other champions try to gank. We get Shen apparently because I think I rune prisoned him, and we get Morgana here too because I use my 3-spell combo, which is basically Overload, Rune Prison, and what's it called? My 3rd spell, Spell Flux. And by the time I use Spell Flux, my 1st spell is already cooled down because of my passive, and I use Overload again. So that's 4 spells combination. And I also use my ultimate, which basically gave me even more spell cooldown reduction, which probably made me use another Rune Prison, even though it has a 12-second cooldown. So bad thing about Ryze here is that once a fight's over, you really don't want to lag back because you're probably going to die. And so we decide to retreat back into the bush and hold out. I meanwhile decide that I'm pretty high in health, so I might as well help someone take the dragon. But for some reason, Nano doesn't. He just says nah, sure, whatever. While he goes for those little 3 minions there, but oh well, his choice. Here we see Pantheon trying to gank up here, and I spot that here, that 3 champions are on me. I dodged Morgana's bind, and right now I'm being chased by 3 champions, so I'm like, I am totally screwed. So right here, we basically tried, Nudu kind of scared him, I guess, because of his ultimate, and I'm not sure why they backed off, but they were pretty close to killing me there, and my flash wasn't ready, so yeah. Here we're continually harassing the enemy, trying to get those minion kills, so I can finally get my Haunting Guise, which doesn't cost that much to get a little bit more spell penetration. It's only about 1,500, and buying the same boots won't really increase your speed, so that's kind of useless. While this will also give you some health and ability power, but Ryze's ability power doesn't really increase the damage that much as I would hope that it would. But basically, I thought they recently nerfed Ryze in the game, where his last update here, his ultimate was supposed to add bonus ability power, but now it doesn't. So here I quickly bind what's his name, Pantheon, but apparently it looks like we're being completely surrounded here. But we get Pantheon and we back off because and actually no, we could probably take them if we actually focus fire Shen then Misfortune, but it's alright. We got a free kill. So here I'm kind of low in health. You want to stay back, use all your abilities, and then run back so the enemy turret doesn't damage you. Here the enemies are so low in health that they're not even trying to risk staying near the turret. So they kind of just stand back, let the turrets take some damage, which is actually a big fault. If they actually moved forward a bit or taunted us, we probably would have backed off. Or if Morgana had made a very good bind. But another thing I want to talk about in the game, and it looks like I just got Shen there, so let's postpone that. I use my 3-spell combo as well as my 4th overload, so that basically caused more than 1,000 damage in like a second. Here our team's being moved, like running back. So here I thought maybe I could bind Pantheon and do some damage, and we did, and we actually got the kill. And binds are really important for Ryze. If you bind at the right time and do enough damage, you can probably take out most champions by surprise. So what I wanted to talk about in this game was fear. Basically, fear it's in real life, but in this game it's kind of not as important. But sometimes if you keep your enemy fearing you, you could probably scare them off. if they're unsure in their abilities. Now, probably in professional games you don't see this, but in this game I keep on seeing that people start fearing me, and so because I instantaneously killed them, they only killed me like twice, and me killing them 6 times isn't really that good, and they basically fear me. And most champions like Vladimir, Ryze, or most spellcasters that have spell penetration get feared very early on, and this is actually a very good thing, because the more you get feared, the higher chance you have of surviving an attack, because the higher chance that if they take like half damage from my 4 spell combo, even 5 spell, because if I use my ultimate, then they will basically back off. But I know that once my burst is finished, I have to wait 3 seconds. So in those 3 seconds, I'm vulnerable. But the enemy doesn't know that. As soon as they see their health bar drop to about 50% within like a second, they get feared like completely. So here I say my champion, my ally get like ganked. So I was planning to gank Pantheon here, but shouldn't have used my flash there. But we get the kill, and but Shen looks like he's gonna get away here. The champion's gonna come on him a lot, but the slow really helped out. If he would have landed his ultimate, then maybe he would have gotten the kill. But Teemo here is plots down a shroom, which basically slows him down, and he gets damaged pretty a lot, but he survives. So he's actually going for an AP Nunu build, which isn't quite like rare, but AP Nunu is very powerful, especially his ultimate. For enemies that don't have much magic resistance, they can basically one-shot most champions, most spellcasters that have under 1,500 health. So here we just saw Caitlyn take out Shen with their long-range gun, which like stores infinite ammo, as you probably saw in my other video. But here basically I'm thinking what to buy, because I already have 40 plus 10 runes spell penetration, so I decided to go for our Medjai's, because I keep on seeing that I'm getting a lot of kills and they're not really adding up. I know I said that ability power doesn't really matter for Ryze, but in this case, because I'm getting so many kills and assists, that it could actually make up, and it's cheap too. I was planning to go for Archangel's staff, otherwise to upgrade my Tear of the Goddess, but I decided not to, just because we are getting so easy kills and we're winning so easily that I might as well just get that Medjai's out. So later on I get a lot of stacks on it, and it actually adds up in damage. Here I just farm those minions to get my Medjai's, then I go onto the battlefield to help out my teammates. And yeah. So what I also wanted to talk about here was that turrets. Everyone hates turrets. I hate turrets personally, but turrets. If this game was like, it would be more fair if this game for spellcasters. I mean, that if the turrets auto-fired on champions instead of minions first. I understand that the whole like gameplay is based on like it would be ruined if the turrets actually shot champions first. But you saw here a bit before that we got Misfortune very early on in my part 1 video because she was staying by the turret. And if I walk up here, for example, in range, that turret should fire on me, but I kind of like the physics sometimes and kind of don't, but it usually plays out in my favor, and it seems that if the turrets would auto-fire on champions, the turrets would never go down. I mean, if champions were gone, then basically turrets would annihilate the champions, and the minions would take too long to actually scratch away at that turret. So I guess it's good, but I still have an opinion that maybe somehow like if like an enemy champion does so much damage to like allied or a turret in a certain amount of time, that the turret would retarget the champion. That way it wouldn't cause so much damage to the turret. Because I'm noticing that sometimes turrets get melted away so easily that you don't even need like minions to do it. Certainly at level like 12, you could probably even solo if you have the right build. If you have like decent items, a lot of health, and some armor, you could probably solo it if you're a DPS champion. Otherwise, spellcasters don't really do a lot to turrets. They're basically focused on primarily killing enemy champions, because even though their attack isn't that high, it compensates because when you reach a certain amount of damage, or when you reach a certain amount of ability power, the amount of damage you do to turrets is either like, I forgot the percentage, but it's either like 20% of your ability power or like 50, I don't remember, but or your attack damage, which in this case it was my attack damage. Usually you don't really get that high ability power with that spell type. So here, big battles coming up. So we take out Teemo very quickly. Shen here is outnumbered, outgunned, and then Morgana comes at the wrong time trying to bind me. But we take her out very quickly. I think we do take her out. And I kind of flash here, hoping to get the kill, because I really could use the Mid-Eye's extra stack. But I have 6 stacks at the moment right here, so I'm at 160. Around a bit higher than 100 ability power, so I'm kind of happy here. And who wouldn't be in this situation when it's 20 and 6? So this game is kind of like owning me and Nunu are completely ability powered, or most of our other champions are damage based. If you have a full ability power team, it isn't that good because they'll just get magic resistances, and then they'll like stop you, and then they'll get Banshee's Veil, which will block 1 spell per 30 seconds. And then it'll basically ruin all the spellcasters' builds no matter what they go for. But with a hybrid, maybe a hybrid team, you could have a DPS, you could have a support, a healer. It's definitely I would really recommend having 2 what's called ability power champions, because maybe even 3, because of the amount of damage they dish out per second. So looks like I'm going to be finishing up this video now, part 2, and I hope you guys like the video. Please comment, subscribe, and rate. And I'll be seeing you guys in part 3 of this final part. And yeah, see ya.